Again, this is Old Man PHP. I create PHP video tutorials for the old guys who want to learn a new skill and compete with the young crowd. Video 125A. We ran out of the 124 because it went to W. So we started a new one. Still the inventory part. Now we're dealing with the register stuff. On the last video we talked about the register form, right? We talked about that and I showed you that. We built the form itself and we also updated the index.php, the actual form, with the line, the link right here. Create new user accounts. You know how you can username password takes you to the dashboard, but if nobody has a username password, normally a company would just provide it for you. But companies like huge companies that I worked for, I'm not gonna mention names, they had a department because so many people, and you got new people coming in, new people coming out, going out, that they couldn't keep up the HR. So not the HR, but the people in charge of the, I guess would be the database people. Anyway, you had to create your own account, and this is how they used to do it. But they will turn this off. Like, in other words, if you click on this, let's say we'll click on it right now, just to let you know that this works, this form. There you go. You know something? I think I want to bring this down a little bit because, I don't know. Let me see if I can see it. Yeah, like right here. I don't know, I gotta get it better. Like I keep telling, I don't want to complain no more. But you know, remember this, you got the supply, you got the categories, right? So let's log out. So you go in, this and that, you're brand new, they say, oh, they gave you this because I remember. And then you give a link in your email, you click the link, you're here, and you say, wait a minute, what's my username and password? There's nothing there. It says, oh, I'll create a new user. And then, of course, when you click on the new user, boom, you get this. Registration is currently disabled for this system. And you're like, wait, what's going on? And then remember them saying, well, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. We needed to find out for sure that you're going to be the new employee, that kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. I got that. And then they will turn on the flag. And then, of course, I'm able to do this. Yeah, it was frustrating when I tell you that these big companies sometimes they don't got it together. Anyway, so we're here, right? I'm like, well, what the hell, man? I mean, how do I? So I clicked that back. We're here again. So what happened was, I'm gonna go into the registration form. This is the registration form right here. See this? This is the registration form. The what you call it? The index form. I'm not gonna show you again. Let me see if I can. We've been like, this is it right here, right? So you guys look at this. Define allowed registration equals 2. That was for here, but we just, hey, once we go, hey, if this registration is allowed, meaning that, hey, look, it was allowed, which is why you got it. If they would have turned this off, like put the slash like that, and then you run this, you wouldn't see this create new user thing. There's a whole bunch of ways. The reason why they do that is because in case you come in a different way. And anyway, so we do this, right? Let me just take this. Let me save this just in case. Okay. So what happened is we did that, right? You saw that, right? So now you're here. Okay, now you're here. And then you're checking, right? Remember all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Checking for session, checking for the tokens. And then over here, look, requires once. And it says define if registration, you know, is, what you call it. If it's not, if there's a problem, then you get that message. what was that message, by the way? Is this the message right here? Uh-oh, my computer, did you see the delay? Oh no, I think we're gonna have problems with this computer. I can see it already. See, and what happened was, you gotta put this command. See this command here? You already did it over there before, but you want to do it here under the registration, right? Because it's checking to see right here, and it said, well, if it's not, then, and if it's not allowed, then I'm gonna give you this message. So what you do is they turn it on, and this is how they do it. They define the constant, and they find the constant allow on the underscore registration as true. And what you do is you go like this, right? You save it, and then let's go back. Right, so you go back here, and then you go, oh, all right, so we'll go here. They already turned it on, and boom, there you go, registration. Isn't that cool? And if you already have an account, of course, you go sign in, it takes you right back to that other one. And in this case, they want the email, all user, which is the username, but that it will be your username. It could be the company name, or whatever organization. So you would be, I don't know, let's say you're in ops, IT ops, or whatever it is, and then you do the password, and of course you confirm the password. Now the database part of this whole thing, I'm not going to show you right away because I haven't played. I did play around with it, but I still need to go to, I still have to go through the process part because I needed to change some few things in the database. I didn't get a chance, but I needed to get this video out. So I apologize. In the next video, it'll be ready. I'll show you what I did. But in this case, so when you're dealing with this type of things, remember we're going to be using this. We're going to be using PDO. Remember how we talked to PDO? That's the one where it connects. Is the object, and you connect the database with it, right? So I just want to explain that there's like 3 pillars of that secure PDO flow. You know what I mean? I need to do that because somebody was telling me that why don't you use the MySQL? MySQL, we used it before. Remember I showed you that way back, but I think PDO can connect to all kinds of stuff, and I think it'd be better off because the connection to the new PDO right now, it acts like the PDO acts like a universal bridge. And explains that like when you're setting the error modes. Remember the error mode? How the hell? Oh, by the way, I created a file so I can at least talk about it. Let me see. I called it. It doesn't matter what I called it. It's blank anyway. So we just say. Remember this one? We did PDO like this, and then you say Alt R. Remember that one? Because we, what was it? Is it error or error mode? I think it's error mode, like that. And then we did like this because remember, it goes into it. It's an array, so then you say PDO, and then you say error mode underscore exception. I think that's how you remember that one. And that is crucial because it forces PHP to stop and tell you exactly what went wrong. And if a query fails, or do you prefer for it to fail and then get nothing, and you'll be like, how the heck I'm supposed to find out what was the error? Well, you gotta have that set up. Remember, we told you that you do this, because it's like going into a game. You do your setup before you start playing the game, right? You do a whole bunch of this. I want this character. I want him to have a sword, that kind of thing. This is the same idea. Then you have the, what was the second one is the prepare statement. So if you go to the, what should we call this? Let's go down there. We say the connection, which would be the new, remember when you say new PDO, that's what this is. That's the object. Then you have, what is it, the prepare statement, right? So I'm going to say prepared statement. And you know, you've seen it before, it looks like this. PDO. Remember how prepare, you remember the prepare statement itself is a method, okay? Prepare, like that. You've seen that, right? Oh, wait a minute. We need to go. No. Prepare. Then, what else do we got? So in this, in the prepare statement, right? Now, you remember I told you always do it like this and use the placeholder because it's more secure, because people can lie. And if you use like, remember the insert statement where you will use the name of the fields and then you say value and then the name of the actual value, and we will put the, in the beginning, way back, I did it this way because I wanted you to learn. We do variables, but not anymore, right? We use placeholders, right? You know those things that have these, like something like that, and then you say name, you know, those type of things. That's a placeholder, right? So, so this is an ultimate shield against SQL injection, and you ain't sending data to the database. Yeah, you're sending it to a blueprint. Remember when we talked about this, of the SQL command with a placeholder, like email, password. Let me put it here, like name, email, password. Remember that? Those kind of things. That's it. That's a placeholder. So the database compiles the SQL structure, right, ahead of time. It does it ahead of time because you know why? The next thing you're going to be using is the execution command, right? So I'm going to put it, let's put it, wait a minute, how come this thing is, how about if I do this? Am I stupid? I don't want this video to go real crazy long. So we'll do this. Because you know why? On the next video, we're going to explain the actual execution, the processes. So I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to show you anyway. Because I had to retype it anyway beforehand. Because on the last video, it was this is the same video. I'm not the last, the real last. But yesterday, I tried doing this actual video that I'm doing now. And a whole bunch of stuff happened. And then I lost power. Knocked out my computer and everything. I'm like, oh boy. So now I took the time to retype the whole thing. I didn't wait it for giving you a blank page and let's just go along with it together. I just said, oh, I just typed it out just in case, right? So it's the ultimate, what is it? The prepare statement is the ultimate shield against SQL injection. Remember that. The connection is a universal bridge, right? That's that PDO. And then you connect, then you hook up the error mode underscore exception, right? Then you got the execution. So we're going to say the execution. Execution like that. And it'll be something like, remember how we always do, you can do anything, but I kind of always do this. And let's say execute like that. Like, it will be like that. But let's just take that out. But it will be like that. That's how you do it. Same thing over here. It will be something. Maybe I just put it in like that. And then you put stuff in between. Right? Ooh. Wow. Not that too fast. Okay. And the lesson there is that when the actual user data is bound and sent safely, meaning that it's already hooked up by the prepare statement because it's preparing, because the database already compiled that SQL structure, right? In the the prepare statement, that this part right here, right? So when it treats the executed the data strictly as a literal value and completely neutralizes any malicious SQL code that a user might try to sneak in the form. Remember we talked about that, how they can sneak in selects, input, those kind of things. So that's what that is. So you gotta always have, how about we just say there's the 3 pillars that you always have to think about when you're doing that. So I'll put it over here. How about that? We'll say the 3 pillars of a secure PDO flow writer. Remember that song, Flow Rider? Anyway, man, I haven't heard music in. Let me see. Oh, by the way, guys, if you got coffee, take a sip. Ooh, guys. Oh man, I'm so sorry, guys. Let me get rid of that. Okay, sorry about that. You know what it is? I gotta do my medication. So give me a second. Okay. Sorry, guys and girls. I'm so sorry. I don't want to have to take my medication. Because problems. Um, so that is what it is. So now what I want to do is let's talk now that the form has been created, right? Which is this here, and sending data, but we're not doing that yet because we need to build that. I want to build that. The reason why I'm breaking these a little shorter because my stuff tend to be long and I talk too much and my voice cracks and I'm old and you know how it is. So so what I'm going to do is right. So now that the register.php form, which this happens to be there, you see that register.php, right? And it's ready and sending. It's not sending data yet, but we need to build the brain behind the operation, and that would be the process. I called it process_register.php. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So this script handles security. It validates user input. It has the hash passwords. Is safely insert the new user into our database using that PDO that we just talked about, right? And let's see if we can get there. Let's see, where is it? Okay, we're here. Where are you? Oh, here it goes. There you go. Here it goes. Here it goes. By the way, remember I told you that, see this right here? It would work because now I created that's what you call it. The actual constant. Constant is variables that you can't change and it's out there. It's global. All right, so you go like this is constant, right? So then, what I wanted to do? So what happens is in this situation, see, it's all the same thing. It starts the session if you need it. You got your config file, right? It allows registration, which is cool. This one is to see if you post or register, submit. That you can get from. Something is definitely wrong with my computer though. If you go here, This is what it looks like. This is the PHP, right? You got your bootstrap. You got your card. That's the thing that makes it look like this, like a card, right? And then here you have the registration here. Look, registration error. If there's an error, that you will get it right over here. That's what that is. But we're not gonna test that yet. I just wanted to show you. Take the time. And then of course you're gonna unset. That means you're gonna get rid of that. You're gonna clear the errors after displaying that kind of thing. Here's the process underscore register. And this is the actual phone number. It has the token, email, the company, password. Submit this, submit that, blah blah blah. You know what oh man, my neck. You know what I need to add in here? The actual that gap, just in case of the honey pot, we're gonna have to add something here for the honey pot. Where is it? Let's go here for a second. I wanted to see if I had it in right here. See this right here? So what we can do is we can take this, right? Do we really need to see this again? Maybe not. What do you think? I'm gonna just close it up. Where's the register form? This is the register form. You're here. You're hitting. La 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 la. La la la. I'm gonna put it over here. And you're not gonna see it anyway because I got it hitting. As you can see. Let's just push this here. And let's just push it over more like that. So if you save it, you see it right here. See? Let me see. You're not gonna see it. It's just it's in there. All right. Now you're gonna come here to the process, what we just talking about, right? And you're gonna check for, of course, your that you do. Oh yeah, by the register. That's post. Hold on a second. Where is it? Okay, right here. You go right here. Yeah, see this says post, and what's the submit button? Here it goes. Register underscore submit. Okay. So if I went here, okay, it checks. If it's not, then it's a problem. Then it disables you. I mean, that's just one thing right here. If there's a problem, blah blah blah. It takes you right back to the form. Although I should put a like an error right here, like a error, but we'll do that when the time comes. All right, now you're new, so an error thing will be good. Yeah, I probably will do that. I'll probably add that. Then of course you got your tokens right here. See your tokens. Sing the song. Wow. I was gonna do the but I'm not gonna show you here because I don't want to hit the other the one that checks for the bots. So that would be index. Let me see the dashboard because I don't feel like those are the errors. See these little errors like that? We're going to put it in there, but we're going to create. Let me see if it's here. Do I have it? Or maybe they never put it in here. That's your catch-up, but we don't need to do that because you're brand new. Oh, there it goes. We could take this, right? And put it in the registry. Where is it? I think, did I do that already? Oh, I did it already. Oh boy, Andres. going on with your brain? What's going on? That's almost, I did it here already. Okay, let's go to, because I don't feel like, oh, right here. The old master. So we can cut and paste, man. You already did it already. The timeout stuff will be okay to put in. Maybe that's something we could look at later. Is it worth it? I mean, maybe. Right here. This whole thing right here. See? Take that, right? Get rid of this. Get rid of that one. And we're going to put it. Where should we put it? We'll put it over here. How about that? That's it. Let's put a little space there. See, we'll put it there so it could also check. Really doesn't mean anything because nobody, but it's okay to do it to the forms and do it anyway. All right. So now we got here the section. This is the section 6. Well, I guess we start at 6. Sanitize and capture inputs, right? We do it this way. Remember how we did it this way too? We're not using that filter situation because people were like, I'm confused. And I'm not talking about subscribers. I'm talking about people that I know that don't even bother to look at and subscribe to me. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know if I offended them or I don't think I did, but I don't know. Some people, they just forget. And I'm not gonna blame them because you know how many times I saw a video and I'm like forgot to hit the like button, or something happens and I want to jump out. I get the information that I want and I just jump out, and it's not good for the YouTubers, and I understand that. And let's see if we could let's squeeze this guy out a little bit, like that. Make it look pretty. Anyway, we do the filtering, right? It's input post. The name is username. It's sanitized email, right? That's what that is. Because we're going to be using email plus some name, and we might even put in another one, like this or that, or we'll put in an array, and because you want to use but I think the email situation is a better situation. Then you want to trim your company name, right? Remember that? And if for some reason there's nothing there, just then make it blank. And then you do the same thing with the password, make it blank, do that, make it blank. And then you're going to say error. You're going to create an array for the error. That's what this is. Then you're going to input the rules. Remember how you filter the emails, what the emails are? And then the error is going to say, hey, invalid email address, users required. And that's what pops up in the space above, which will get that working. And then you have your company name, and then you want to say password must be at least 8 characters long. And then of course you want to confirm that you've seen these things before. And then you want to validate the validation failed, right? And then you send it back with an error. And this is the error. Remember, see this right here? Where are we? See right here? Errors. You made this into an array. Oh, yes, that's it right here. An array. I put it in. See, I've been trying my best, man. I've been trying my best. Even though I'm sick and sometimes can't get out of bed situation, but I still try, man. I still try. So you come here and you say, oh, look, if it's not empty, please give me this section, this error section right here. And then you put it into a session. You go register. If you go to the register, I wonder if I put it in. Where are we? I don't know what it is, but my mouse does not want to work. Here it goes. You see it right there? Look, right there. After it's been displayed, then it clearly put it displays it for you. Matter of fact, not here. Here. Right here. See? The register there is, oh, danger, gives you an error, blah, blah, blah. That's an array, gives you whatever the heck you got in there. Closes it, that's a little X in the corner. And then unset means stop the connection to it. Get it? Clears error when it's displayed, basically what it's doing. Then that's what that is. So you're gonna get that message right. Alright, so then you're gonna do the try. Remember how you do the try in there. So anyway, the prepare statement does this, right? You execute, you do the fetch, you do the registration, and all that stuff. See, when you do that, the first line of defense is always like, we ensure that the script only runs if only somebody submits it. Remember, we already saw that. And you know, when you initial, what is it, sanitize and token cleanup, that's what we just saw with the trim and everything else. And of course, you got the emptiness. Is if it's empty, you checks, right? Or use the filler underscore var. Where are we? Right here, filler underscore var. So never trust a client-side validation alone, like the JavaScript stuff. Even if the HTML form says require, a hacker can still bypass that. So we can check on the server if any few are empty, right? And we can use the PHP filter underscore var for emails. You can use it for other things too, but to make sure that the emails legally formatted before you even touch the database. Just want to make sure, that's it. The trim, remember, the trim is something that we, which is right here. So when you grab our data, right, we use the trim to clean up any accidental spaces, because sometimes people put in, and then they hit that little space bar a little bit, and you'd be like, okay, I don't see nothing there, so what do? You hit enter, and then they see that there's a problem there. But by trimming it, you can, clean up that accidental space, and in the beginning and in the end of it, of the username or password, which would be your email, of course. And then we also verify that the CSRF tokens ensures that the request is actually came from our site, not a malicious third-party site. And the server side, the validation, which would be the checks and stuff, right? That's just in case, that the bad people don't, the hackers don't bypass certain things, you know what I mean? So we check for that server. So if any fields are empty, or they use like that PHP, so we use that PHP filter, so that will work. And what else can I say about this little thing here? Of course, this is your 2 password, and of course you want to make sure that it is SQL to it. Although I should have put the password situation first instead of putting it like right here. Maybe I should put this. Maybe it's a good idea to make sure. No. This isn't the right spot, because you want to do this, you want to do that. I'm pretty sure that's I'm in the right. I'm in the right track. I don't like it the way I like it that way. And then of course you got your emptiness, right? We saw that request. Then you do the try. Now remember the prepare statement. We talked about that with the 3 pillars and stuff like that. So now with the placeholder, these are the placeholders I was talking about. Remember, I wrote it down. Where is it? Believe it or not, I don't know what I did with that file. See the placeholders here? These? That's what that is. because let's go back to it. Where are we? Because the placeholders, right, is what helps you. You know, this is preparing, right? It's telling SQL, hey, it's gonna be the placeholder here, and it's a real safety, man. It's really good. Now that we bring out our config file and use pdo, right? Because when you do the config file, we just, where is it? Right here, right? And use that pdo. Notice that we ain't jamming variables directly into the SQL. Remember how we used to do like right here? We would put like the variables. Remember that you would say dot, and then you got the double quotes. You put the variables. Remember all that stuff that we did way back? That's because we're training and all that. But now this is the way to do it. You gotta do it this way. This way you don't want to jam all kinds of SQL stuff into the string. Now, so we use the placeholder, and this tells the database to compile the structure of a query first. It isolates the SQL commands from the user data and completely it completely shuts down the SQL injection attacks. Believe it or not, it does that, man. It really is good. And then when you do the execution, right? What's the execution right here? So the execution is the one that executes the command. Right? We pass the actual data into the execute method, right? And the database pairs that data with the placeholder safely. Remember how we used to have the bind value? We could do that too. That's an extra step. Like you put it right here, and then you do the bind value, and then you just call it in like over here. Doing this is a bind value. This is a bind value. It's just that I like doing it the other way too, but it just adds more lines of code. It's a good idea, but you can do that too. But this is the best way. Put it in an array and let it run like this, and it binds it for you. That's just another way. And if it succeeds, right, we use the header, right? Remember the header? So if it succeeds, everything worked out good. By the way, if everything works out good, what happens? You do the header. Remember this header? But in this case, we're checking you're fetching the stuff, right? And you want to check, and you want to see that if there's a duplicate email. You want to see. Because it's gonna come up with saying, hey, the email address is already registered. Get it? So jump out, go to the register, and then this alone will give you that message that's gonna pop up, like over here somewhere. That's how I put it. I think I put it over here. Yeah, and that's what happens. And if it fails, that's it. If somebody else has that, then you have to send it right back. I remember doing that shit several times. I don't get a name of it, but it was a bank, a huge bank. I will catch in black, intercepts the actual, error, and it does it gracefully, right? That's the catching. Right here, catch. Where's the, and it does all the stuff, right? Where's the bottom part of it? Oh yeah. And then it catches the error messages, right? Rolls back the transaction if anything failed during an insertion, right? Let's say. Rolls it back. It's called in transaction. That's a method, and then it rolls back. It's another method that they use. I should have put down I'm gonna look this up so I can put down the actual. Anyway, we'll reach the end. I'm gonna try to get you to the actual stuff with the database, and this way it'll work out real good. Anyway, give me a thumbs up, and then hopefully everything works out. Please subscribe. Thank you. Until next time, have a good night.